Well, Zillow just flipped because their new housing market forecast is calling for home values to decrease over the next 12 months and for the housing market to, quote, shift in favor of home buyers. On top of that, they shared the cities in which they believe home prices will decrease the most and increase the most through May of 2025. In today's video, I'll share Zillow's latest real estate market predictions. And of course, I'll give you my honest opinion about it as well. And by the way, if you guys are new here, I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. I post frequent housing market updates so you guys can make a more informed decision about whether to buy or sell a house right now. Also, we're getting very, very close to 100,000 subscribers. I can't believe that. I had, 2 subscribers 4 years ago. Anyways, thank you everyone who has subscribed to my channel. And if you guys haven't done so already, please help us get to 100,000 subscribers by, I don't know, year end in a couple of months. Anyways, let's begin today's video. I have a lot to share regarding this downward revision that Zillow just posted on their website yesterday. So here's our actual forecast just posted on June 13th. I'll provide a link in the video description below for this. But by the way, that same link just gets updated for the new forecast. So I can't go back on their website and look at their previous forecast, which is annoying. Anyways, I do have the history of their forecast on my channel because I make videos each and every month regarding their forecast. Anyways, Zillow's home value forecast was revised downward this month, while expectations for existing home sales were adjusted upward very, very slightly. I'll share that with you guys in a little bit. Zillow's home value forecast continues to project modest annual increases in the near term, calling for a 0.4% growth rate overall this year. So home values only to rise by 0.4% in 2024. And that, by the way, is a downward revision though, because their previous forecast called for a growth rate of 0.6% this year. On top of that, over the next 12 months, Zillow expects home values to decrease by 1.4%. This is also worse than the 0.9% decrease they forecasted in last month's forecast as well. So just taking a step back here, they believe that home values will only increase by 0.4%. That's a downward revision from the 0.6% growth rate they forecasted 1 month ago. And also for home values to decrease by 1.4%, also a downward revision from the 0.9% decline last month. Now, in regards to their forecast for existing home sales nationwide this year, they're projecting for 4.12 million sales, indicating a 0.9% growth rate over last year. Now, I put this together for you guys. I did this years ago. I just want to provide some context. What does this really mean regarding, just over 4.1 million sales? How's that compared to years past? So just taking a step back here, looking at 2021 was an insane housing market. Never seen anything like that, especially the spring months of 2022. Absolutely insane. People are writing offers left and right, bidding wars. In Sacramento, we had 6 offers per property. Now we have approximately 1 to 3 offers. A competitive market right now, but not nearly as competitive as the previous years. Anyways, just to provide some context there. So 2021, we had just over 6.1 million houses that sold. That was the highest level since 2006. That was a 15-year high to that same time frame. That was a 15-year high for 2021. Then the following year, a big decrease down by 1.2 million. Then in 2023, at just under 4.1 million, that was the fewest number of existing home sales since 1995, a 28-year low last year. Now their new forecast, again, 4.12 million, which is right there. That'd be a small gain of 1% from 2023. So in other words, they're forecasting for a very low number of sales this year because last year, again, we had a 28-year low. So more or less on par with last year's levels. And just looking at 4.12 million compared to pre-COVID levels back in 2019, when we had just over 5.3 million sales, that'd be a decrease of 23% this year if we actually have 4.12 million this year. Also, I did some digging for you guys as well. The median number per year of houses that sell ever since the year of 2000, based on my nerdy formula right there, is just under 5.3 million. This means compared to the long run average, that would be approximately 1.2 million fewer this year if their forecast actually comes into fruition. So in other words, can you say a low level of closed home sales to say the least? And by the way, all these figures is based on what the National Association of Realtors reports each and every year. And by the way, NER looks at sales of existing single family houses, townhomes, condos, and co-ops based on these figures. Now, speaking of low level of home sales this year compared to last year, I did some digging for you guys because January last year through April last year, we had just under 1.2 million home sales, 1,196 to be exact. And this column right here is the actual number of home sales on national level. It's not seasonally adjusted. It's not annualized as well. The actual number of home sales. So just under 1.2 million from January through April last year. Compare that to the same time frame this year, we have 1,190,000. So we have 6,000 fewer so far this year compared to the same time frame last year. And again, last year we had the lowest number of home sales since 1995. So based on the sales we have so far this year, we're more or less in line with last year's levels, which were already very, very low levels of sales on national level. Just taking a step back here, why does Zillow believe that home values will decrease by 1.4% over the next 12 months? And they say the following here: with a persistent rise of inventory levels, or the amount of houses for sale in recent months, the market is experiencing a gradual, albeit still modest, shift in favor of buyers. The tight conditions that have defined the market for years are finally easing of some. New for sale listings saw a 12.6% annual increase in May compared to the 8.7% gain in April. So we're seeing more houses being listed for sale and also inventory up compared to a year ago. Buyers have thus far not kept up pace. So we're seeing, just like I've been telling you guys, supply rising, but sales decreasing. So we're not seeing an environment in which houses get listed for sale, they sell very, very quickly, and that depletes inventory levels. Right now, we're seeing just the opposite. Again, think of a bathtub being inventory levels. The water level is the amount of houses for sale. In order to increase that water level, you need to see more listings or more water going to the bathtub, or fewer sales, which would be the drain of the bathtub. So if we see fewer sales, as more listings get hit the market or more water goes in the bathtub, that water level or inventory increases. And right now, frankly, we're seeing more listings, but also we're seeing that drain basically being plugged up, right? So as more listings are hitting the market, inventory is rising further. And that's more or less what Zillow has to say. As a result of this rise of inventory, many of these listings are staying on the market longer. So in other words, houses are taking longer to sell, which agrees to what Realtor.com is announcing as well, or has announced. They reported for the past 1 month that houses on average nationwide are taking a little bit longer to sell compared to 12 months ago. And according to Zillow here, this is leading to inventory building up and putting some downward pressure on home price appreciation. Let's talk a little bit more about this because Zillow just posted this as well. It says market moves closer to a balance as sellers return and buyers are balking. This is their May 2024 report. It says home value growth eases along with competition. Price relief may be on the horizon. And let's see what they have to say regarding inventory. So there was approximately 12.6% more new listings compared to last year. New listings are still about 23.3% lower compared to pre-pandemic levels though. There was approximately 22.1% more listings active. In other words, approximately 22% more houses for sale this May compared to May of 2023. Inventory levels are still down by about 34% compared to pre-COVID levels for the month. But that's the smallest deficit in more than 3 years. So in 2021, 22, and 2023, we had a low level of existing houses for sale. We did see a run up in late 2022, but overall, we had a very low level of inventory, especially compared to pre-COVID levels. So it's good to see here that even though we're down by 34% compared to pre-pandemic levels, that is actually the smallest deficit in about 3 years. So in other words, the difference between this year and 2019, for example, is getting a little bit more narrow. And now speaking of some kind of a softening regarding the housing market is also price cuts. So according to Zillow, about 23.9% of active listings in May had a price cut. That's compared to a 22.4% share in April and 19.3% last May. So the share of price drops this May is higher compared to the previous month and from 1 year ago. Meanwhile, 33.3% of houses that did sell sold over the list price in April. That means approximately 67% of houses that did sell in April sold at or below the seller's list price though. But at 33% selling over list, that's actually up compared to the previous month at 30.3%. And also back in April of 2023, 1 year ago, that share was at 34.5%. So houses on average selling above the list price at 33% of the time, but that's lower compared to 12 months ago. In regards to the demand side, that's pending sales, a measure of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers to get an offer accepted. That's a new pending home sale. So newly pending sales decreased by 4.2% from last year. So even though we have approximately 22.1% more house for sale, pendings decreased by 4.2%, an imbalance between supply and demand. Demand going down, but supply rising. Meanwhile, days in the market was at 13 days in May, unchanged compared to April. And also it actually increased though by 3 days compared to last year. So on average, houses taking about 3 days longer to sell this May compared to May of 2023. Going back to Zillow's forecast, they also provided this as well. The metros in which they believe home values will decrease the most and also increase the most through May of 2025. Looking at California really quickly here, San Francisco, they believe that home values will decrease by 4.9% over the next 12 months. Stockton down by 2.6%, Sacramento down by 3.2%, San Jose down by 1.9%, Fresno down, Oxnard down by 2.1%, Los Angeles down by 0.7%, Riverside down by 0.5%. Now zooming out, the areas in dark blue are the biggest decreases. Areas in orange or yellow are the biggest increases. So McAllen, Texas up by 1.3%. We're also seeing big gains in Knoxville, Tennessee potentially. Through May of 2025, values to increase by 2.9%. In contrast, New Orleans, Louisiana down by 7.5%, and also Jackson, Mississippi down by 3.4%. Minneapolis down by 4.4%. Colorado Springs 3%. Denver down by 3% as well. Portland, Oregon down by 3.7%. Right now, it's kind of interesting because Redfin just noted this last week that Portland, Oregon is actually one of the cities that have decreased the most over the next 12 months. So pretty interesting to see here that Zillow is predicting that home values will decrease further through 2025. Also, some people ask me about Utah. So Provo, Utah, their expectations is a decrease of 1.5%. Salt Lake City decreasing by 1.3%. And Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake, decreasing by 0.8%. Also looking at Texas, Austin, Texas, they're expecting values to fall by 3.8%. San Antonio down by 3%, Houston down by 2.3%, and Dallas down by 1.8%. In contrast, they also believe that Miami, Florida will still experience gains up by 0.3%. Tampa also up by 0.3% as well. In contrast, decreases in Cape Coral, Northport, Florida, Palm Bay, Orlando, Deltona, Florida, as well as Jacksonville, Florida. One city that I'm kind of scratching my head over is their predictions that Hartford, Connecticut will only increase by 0.1%. Based on data from ResiClubAnalytics.com, they shared that they have approximately, I think it's like 70% fewer houses for sale right now compared to May of 2019. So they have an extreme lack of houses for sale. So I'm kind of scratching my head. Why would values only increase by 0.1% over the next 12 months? What do you guys think about that? Please leave a comment below. Now, speaking of home values, Zillow's report from May, the most recent report we have from them, is that home values are up from a year ago in 46 of the 50 biggest metros. Annual price gains are the highest in San Jose, up by 12.7. There you go. Hartford, Connecticut, up by nearly 12%. San Diego, up by 11%. Los Angeles, up by 9%. And Boston, up by 8.3%. In contrast, home values are down compared to 12 months ago in 3 US cities. The largest decreases are in New Orleans, down by 5.9, Austin 4.1, and San Antonio down by 2.2%. By the way, if you guys missed my previous video regarding Austin, Texas, Austin, Texas is experiencing some big challenges ahead, given the fact they have more house for sale this May than any other month going back to January of 2017. Price drops skyrocketing, inventory absolutely exploding there in Austin, Texas. If you guys have any boots on the ground regarding any of these cities I shared in today's video, please leave me a comment below with your thoughts regarding what are you seeing in your neck of the woods. Also, if you guys are looking to buy or sell a house anywhere nationwide, then please email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com. Or if you want to buy or sell a house in Sacramento or the greater Sacramento area, I should say, you also can email me as well. Or check out my website, which is realestateteamfinder.com. Hope you guys got a lot of value in today's video. Please leave me a comment below your thoughts regarding is our forecast for home values and sales through 2025 or mid 2025. Do you believe that Zillow is accurate or are they way off the mark? Please leave me a comment below. I appreciate you guys so much. Have an awesome day and we'll see you in the next video.